Okay, so let's get right into it. There's this question that almost every business owner I talk to eventually asks. It's a big one, and it can be a really expensive one. Should we build an app? You see everyone else doing it, and it feels like the next logical step. But is it actually the right move for your business right now?
Exactly. And that's the core question we're tackling today. Because, for years, the default answer was just this automatic yes. The thinking was, hey, everyone's glued to their phones, so you have to be in the App Store to compete. But the landscape has really shifted, hasn't it? What made sense even a few years ago might not be the smart play today.
And right here, this is our main takeaway. The surprising answer for most businesses is probably no, or at the very least, not yet. That mad dash we saw to build an app for absolutely everything, every local coffee shop, every consulting firm, that has really, really cooled down. The market's just gotten smarter.
Right, it's not just a gut feeling. We're seeing this backed up by some pretty solid data. There was a recent survey from a group called Tech Behemoths, and they looked at over 2,000 companies to see where a mobile app really fits into their strategy for 2026. The results are, well, they're pretty eye-opening. Yeah, take a look at these numbers. Over half, 57.6% of companies now see a mobile app as a low priority. Then you've got another 45% who are actively choosing a web-only strategy. And on top of that, 54% are still just trying to figure out if an app even makes sense. So when you piece that all together, it's crystal clear. The vast majority of businesses are hitting the brakes on building a native app. So to help you figure out where you fit in, we've broken this down into 5 key parts. We're going to start with your foundation, the website. Then we'll get into web apps, PWAs, and native apps. And we'll wrap it all up with a practical, smart path forward you can actually use. All right, let's start at square one, your website. Because honestly, before you even whisper the word app, you have to have a killer website. For a huge number of businesses, a great website isn't just the starting point. It's actually the finish line. It's all they need. Exactly. Think about it. If your main goal is just to get found on Google, visibility and generating leads, then you're in this category. This is for most local services, contractors, B2B companies. Your customers aren't logging in every day. For them, investing that app budget into top-notch SEO and a faster website is going to give you a much, much better return on your investment. Okay, but what if you need more than just a digital brochure? What if you need real functionality? Well, this is where the web app comes in. And honestly, it's this powerful, functional workhorse that so many businesses just leap right over in their race to build a native app. So a web app isn't just a website. It's a tool. It runs right in your web browser, but here's the magic trick. It requires 0 installation. That right there removes a huge barrier for your customers. There's no app store, no downloads. They just go to a URL and start using it. It's that simple. And the use cases are everywhere once you start looking. Think about a secure customer portal where clients can check on their projects, or an internal dashboard for your staff to manage operations, a B2B ordering system, a quoting tool, an online learning platform. All of these are classic web apps. They provide incredible value without all the cost and headache of a native mobile app. Now, let's talk about the middle ground, the hybrid option that's getting really popular. It's called a progressive web app, or a PWA. This is for when you want something that feels more like a native app, but you're not quite ready for that full App Store commitment. The differences are really important here. A PWA, like a web app, runs in the browser. That means it's way faster to get out the door, and there's less friction for users. A native app, on the other hand, gives you that direct line to the phone's hardware, the camera, GPS, you name it. And for really high-performance stuff, it's still king. So the PWA is this fantastic compromise between the two worlds. So that brings us to the big one. When does it finally make sense to go all in on a full-blown native mobile app? Well, the short answer is when you need a highly specialized tool for a very specific job. This is not your everyday solution. Here's the absolute #1 reason. You build a native app when your entire business model depends on frequent, repeat engagement. We're talking daily or at least weekly use. You're trying to build a habit. Think about Uber or DoorDash or Instagram. In those cases, the app isn't just part of the business, the app is the business. And that's when these specific features become absolutely essential. If you need to send push notifications to bring people back, or use the phone's GPS for a delivery service, or you want a loyalty program that lives right on your customer's home screen, well then, and only then, is a native app the right weapon to choose. Okay, But before anyone gets too excited and runs off to a developer, we have to do a serious reality check. We need to talk about the real cost, the very real risks, and the tough, honest questions you've got to ask yourself first.
And this data is, well, it's pretty sobering. More than half of companies have a budget under $25,000. Now, that's on the very low end for a quality app, but at the same time, look at this. Almost 43% have no clear idea what their return on investment is even supposed to be. That is a recipe for a very expensive disappointment.
And that brings us to the most critical point about risk. It's not just about the money you might lose. The real catastrophic failure is spending all that time, all that effort, and all that money to build something your customers simply don't want or need. You end up with a product that nobody adopts. So you have to put your strategy hat on and ask these questions with brutal honesty. Will people really use this often? Does it solve a genuine recurring problem for them? And this is a big one. What job does this app do that our existing website can't already do perfectly well? If the answers feel weak, you need to go back to the drawing board. Okay, so we've laid out all the options and all the risks. Let's pull it all together now into a smart, practical framework that pretty much any business can follow to make the right decision. This is the sequence that we see work time and time again because it minimizes your risk. Step 1, perfect your foundation, your website. Nail it. Step 2, if you need more power, add functionality with a web app. Step 3, if you need that app-like feel, explore a PWA. And only then, as a final step, when the business case is just undeniable, do you pull the trigger on a native app. And this really is the key takeaway for everyone listening. The goal isn't just to launch an app. That's a vanity metric. The real win is digging deep, understanding your customers, and choosing the right digital tool for the job, the one that actually helps them and makes your business stronger. So we'll leave you with this final question to think about. Take a hard look at your business, at your customers, and at your goals, and ask yourself, what is the simplest, most direct digital product that will help us grow without adding a bunch of unnecessary cost and complexity? The answer might not be what you expect, but it'll almost certainly be the right one.